Hello everyone, I'm Al Grego, and this is the Yes We Are Open podcast. This week's story takes place in a neighborhood in Regina called Whitmore Park, a well-established residential neighborhood in southern Regina, known for its tree-lined streets and quiet suburban atmosphere. The neighborhood has an approximate population of 6,000 and is located close to both Saskatchewan Polytechnic and the University of Regina. The U of R just celebrated their 50th anniversary as an independent university, although their roots as a college date back more than a century. The university, with a student population of more than 17,000, is situated in Wascana Center, one of North America's largest urban parks built around Wascana Lake. Named after the Cree word Oscana, meaning pile of bones, in reference to the Plains bison bones scattered around Wascana Creek. The lake was created in 1883 to serve as a reliable water reservoir for the city and railway. It didn't take long for residents to begin using it for recreation as well. In 1905, Saskatchewan gained provincial status, and planning began on a new capitol building in the park. The Saskatchewan Legislative Building was completed in 1912. After my quick tour of the park and legislative building, I'm back on the road headed into Whitmore Park, along Ring Road and north on Albert Street, then right on East Service Road to a strip plaza with a number of businesses. The northmost tenant in that plaza is the subject of this week's story, Zippity Zoom Toys. Walking into Zippity Zoom Toys is what you would expect. Wall-to-wall shelves and displays of toys for kids of all ages. From baby to toddler to preschool to toys for older kids. From plushies to puzzles, books to bubble wands. If it's brightly colored and fun for kids, it's probably here. But there is one thing you won't find at Zippity Zoom Toys, and we'll soon find out what that is.
Hi. How are you? Tracy? Yeah. I'm Alan.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, do you go by Al?
Yeah.
Ah, nice to meet you.
That's Tracy, the owner. She leads me back into her stockroom while her daughter DJ watches the store. We settle in for our interview.
Hi, my name is Tracy Bosche, and I'm the owner of Zippity Zoom Toys.
When did Zippity Zoom open?
We opened up in 2009. I go back now and I wonder how I even had time. My kids are older now, but at that time, one was born in 2008, and how I thought I had time in 2009 to open a store. But at that time, it was actually going to be a play place, maybe a coffee shop attached to it, and then maybe like a small retail store of like toys. And as we tried to find a location for that seemed to be challenging to find a spot to have enough area to play. Right. And at the time, my husband had a company that had a division where we could pull from like learning toys. And so I was like, well, maybe we'll just do that and have a learning toy store. And as you start ordering toys, It's like toys are just maybe a little bit more fun than just learning toys. So it just all of a sudden started. And that was in May. We decided to start something. We didn't really know what we were starting, but we decided to start a toy store then. And by September, we were open in our first location, which is not the one that you're in now. Okay. I am from Regina. I raised in Regina, have just kind of always worked forever, but I did some ordering from other stores before. So giftware is kind of where I did ordering, which I really enjoyed. But honestly, my passion has always been toys and games and that kind of stuff.
Your passion for toys, is it just you never grew up? Or?
I don't know. I just always have been a toy lover, I guess. And equally a shopper. So I think just the two kind of go hand in hand. I maybe have a knack for finding things that are a good staple and have pretend play associated with them and longevity, and that's kind of the stuff I like. I am maybe myself a little bit more old school too, so I like that nostalgia of toys, and I don't know, it always just brings you joy and happiness. So.
The name, where did it come from?
The name, man, we were just sitting around trying to figure out this is fun actually, going back and being able to like remember all of it, but we do talk about it over the years as things come up, but we were talking about it, and my husband is a pilot, and so we kind of like the idea of incorporating airplanes somehow. We didn't know, and then he had said like Zippity or something, and then the Zoom was in the mix somewhere, and all of a sudden it was Zippity Zoom Toys, and that was kind of what it came up with. And we're like, this is great. And then I don't think anybody even realizes it, but we have a control tower in our store, which is one of the first things I had built.
Oh, okay.
It's just right around the corner there, but most people don't realize that's what it is. And to them, maybe it doesn't matter, but to us, it's always a reminder of the beginning, right? And at the top of the store, there's airplanes flying around, but, well, A, it's packed with product, but the airplanes are still there. So... I remember having to figure out all the stuff, figuring out shelving, figuring out the back end of like, how do you even accept money, right? Like everybody can take cash, but how do I take a credit card? I had no idea. I had to figure all this out. And there was a lot of like, at the time, searching or asking people, because this was not necessarily my background. I could do the job, but I didn't know how to do the back end of it, and hired a bookkeeper, and we just kind of started. I started ordering product. It showed up, got a computer because my husband told me I couldn't use an old school cash register, which is what I wanted to do. But he's like, inventory, it'll be easier to maintain later. You don't envision that you're going to become this big store. You just don't envision that. You are just really in the moment doing the day to day. It was just kind of something that we wanted to, I guess, try. I wanted to try. And so we ordered all of our stuff. It started showing up. We put it on the shelves, and then we waited. And you're just like, is anybody going to show up? Like, I have no idea. We still to this day go back and go, I remember like our first sale. I am still friends to this day with that lady that made our first sale. Wow. And she's still a customer that comes in all the time. We're friends. It was really cool. And even when she comes in, she's like, that was your first customer ever. And I'm like, she remembers it. So, but there was days, right? You just high five your first sale, and you honestly, going back, we remember going, I should have saved the first like $100 bill we got, right? It really is a moment that you can never go back to.
Your daughter, and I think you mentioned you had a son too?
I have two boys, 18 and 16.
So 3 kids altogether?
Yep.
I mean, what did you think of mom having a toy store?
Well, they grew up here. They grew up here. So they were here from day one. And I remember we had a little IKEA chair, and it had a cover that closed, and they would sit and spin in it for hours. And my one boy would take cars and line them up down the carpet like all day long. And they just, when they were little, this is what we did. And it was fun, right? And we carried the line Schleich, which is all the collectible figures. And my boy at 18 still is like, Mom, what'd you get? And he still comes and takes a Schleich home with him. And the other boy is a Lego lover. So he has been building Lego since, honestly, as long as I can remember.
It must be popular among your friends.
Yeah, right? They all know where the toys are at. Yeah.
Tracy Bosche, but most people call me DJ. I say I'm a toy merchant because that just makes more sense.
Very good. How long have you been working?
Since we opened, so 2009 September.
Okay, how old were you when you opened?
We just figured this out. I was 16.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So how do you like growing up with a toy store in the family?
It's pretty fun, actually. And it's really cool to just like see the changes of everything. I think that's like my favorite part. And now I'm addicted to Lego like everybody else.
I was going to ask you what your favorite section is, so it's the Lego section.
It's kind of everything. You know, like how you get like those hobbies, and like now it's just toys are the hobbies. So now you just know all the things about Lego, you know all the things about puzzles and the Schleich and the games. You're just always excited every time there's a new thing that shows up. Doesn't matter what corner of the store it is. So.
And you mentioned it's a family affair, literally. I mean, you're in here with your daughter, and I just noticed today that you have a second location in the same plaza, but it's more of a hobby-themed store.
We opened up a year ago. We opened up Zippity Zoom Hobby Room, and it is models and paints and that kind of old school type stuff where, you know, you want to do stuff with your hands too, but we do molding and sculpting and 3D printing because that has become a thing too. So we actually have 3D printers on display there, and people can have stuff printed there, or even just come watch it. The kids love watching it. It's not something you see every day. So,
and who's working in that store?
That's my husband and my brother.
Full name is Rob Folk, F-O-L-K. And I'm the manager of this location. We were looking for a place, and we joked around that when the vape shop closes, we'll take the spot. 3 weeks later, the vape shop was closing. We took the spot. Perfect. So So in here, where toys ends, and you get into hobbies and all that kind of stuff. So in this location, we offer more into like paints, models, Smooth On products, Monster Maker products, the Roll Life Roker, all that kind of stuff that's more geared towards teenagers into adulthood.
Before you opened this, were you like helping out with the toy store?
No, I was in construction for 30 years. So this got me out of construction.
It's quite the change.
It is. Yeah. Your back really kills you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you already answered this question, but what's your favorite part about doing this other than it not being construction?
Honestly, the customer interaction is always great. And having all the customers that come into the store and seeing what piques their interest and what I can help them with. And
I know your product is toys, but can you even encapsulate what you sell here?
Can I? So over the years, we've kind of like, I think, yes, I've narrowed it down a little bit. So when you go through the store, it is kind of like your younger years. So your pretend play, your imaginative. So there is clearly a definition in our store. Sometimes people don't see it, but that's there. We've got younger, so we've got the baby. We've got a bath section. We've got science. We've got the retro. We go into crafts. Then we go into games, puzzles, and then, of course, the Lego. But I think what also sets us apart from a lot of other stores is we tend to do a lot of the pocket change toys. Like we have the stuff that it costs you a nickel or a quarter. I can't go to a dollar penny, but it's like you can still come into my store and buy something for a quarter, which it's like, where do you go do that anymore? You'd have to buy a whole box of them or something. You don't get that. So that's the stuff that, you know, all the new fidgets and stuff that have come out. We've gone through a few different crazes that way. And so I guess our store is a wide variety, but I think what grounds all of it together is that we are no electronics. Like that's not the thing we do in our store. We are back to the basic toys. We want you to play. We want you to, if you're putting a battery in it, it's because you had to build the entire something to be able to put something in it to make it work. But we are not electronics at all.
So it's been 16 years. What would you say has been your heyday, or are you in it now?
You know, every year I kind of like wonder, you know, is this it? Is this the peak? But at the same point, when you have people coming in every day supporting you, it's not. We just honestly keep growing. I think we have amazing customer service. I think because it's also our family. Like if we didn't have the passion for it, our customers would see it. And we clearly do. And our customers appreciate it. So I think it's still growing, which is great. I'll take it every day.
Tracy and her family clearly have a passion for their business. But is that enough to keep it flying high? Stay tuned to find out. You're listening to Yes, We Are Open. Tracy Bosche turned her love for toys and purchasing into Zippity Zoom Toys, a successful toy store in Regina. But in 2019, their story takes a turn. After 10 years of being in business, Zippity Zoom actually holds a going out of business sale. It even made the local CTV news. What happened? How did they survive? Let's have a listen.
I'd ask you to think back over this last 16 years at a time where the business was in jeopardy of shutting down, or at least, you know, encountering some big struggle. What would that be?
So when my boys were probably getting into about 16, I think, my oldest one, so I'm not even sure what year that was, but a few years back. Anyway, I had realized as they get older, I wanted to be home with them the same way I was with my daughter. And so I realized it was like harder to separate business because I was getting busy and being home, and I didn't want to leave two teenagers at home kind of thing all day. So I had asked my daughter if she wanted to take over the business and I would step back, and she had kind of decided she didn't want to at the time. And I think she was worried about, she didn't know, right? Maybe a little bit big shoes to fill. She didn't know how to do all of it herself.
How old is she?
At the time, she probably would have been, 20, maybe 25.
Okay, so I mean, old enough to
take it, but maybe a little bit scared. She had a boyfriend at the time out of town, so we thought maybe she was going to leave and do something there, but she decided she didn't want it. So my husband and I just said, okay, let's just be done. We are okay. I didn't want to sell it. I just wanted to close it and I'd be done with this. We had a closing out sale. We decided to just be done. I had talked to my landlord about getting out of my lease. At that time, we had people approaching us saying like, of course, sad to see you go, and can somebody buy you? And it wasn't things I had thought about because I had never really looked at it like a business. This is just what I did every day. Right. And how do I pass that on to somebody else? All the stuff you do. It just didn't seem like it was something you'd get rid of that way. And then she came home from her holidays and she was like, Mom, I decided I want to do the business.
I hear that the store almost closed.
Yes, it did.
But you came in to the rescue.
Yes, I came back and said, no, Mom. I remember answering the phone and this like little girl was literally crying on the other end. And she was like, please don't close the toy store. And I'm like, we're not. I'm like, sweetie, we're not closing the toy store. Everything's okay. And she was like, oh my God. But like, people were so happy. Yeah. And you saw it. And I think that's the best part is like our customer base that comes in. I literally had a lady this morning that came in and brought us a gift and a card. And I said, oh my God, what's this? And she's like, it's just something for you. Don't open it. I'm going to cry if you open it in front of me. And like, so sweet, literally opened it. Started like tearing up a little bit because it's just like a really good connection with our customers, and it's like a big family, literally.
So no regrets for coming in and taking
never.
Yeah.
So, yep.
My landlord was great, was going to let me out of my lease, and within, a couple of days, you call him up and I'm like, hey, change of plans. We're going to keep it. And I think that was before 2020. So that was 2018, I guess, when that all happened.
You must have been relieved to have like a great tenant stay.
Yeah, right. We've been here, and we actually have such a great, where we're located. We've got a toy store, we've got a comic book store, now we've got the hobby store. It's really a great location.
It's a fun plaza.
Yeah, it really is. My mom, so grandma actually was part of this business as well. Oh, yeah? She worked with us for years as well. And when I stepped back, my mom and my daughter worked here for a couple years, right up until COVID. And then when COVID hit, my mom went back home and she decided she was going to retire now. And so Dejara called and said, Mom, can you come back to work? And I did, of course. And so
at the worst time to work.
But it was good. My kids were a little bit, I just had felt like I needed a little bit of time with them. I didn't want them to transition into teenage years without a parent around.
Sure.
So. As crazy as the time was, we honestly have always been a family that kind of rallies together. So we just did what we had to do. We never thought about closing. We didn't think about not making a sale. We never thought like that. We just thought, what do we have to do to make it easy for customers to get stuff? We worked more hours during COVID than we work in a regular day just because we were here all night. We would be FaceTiming customers, walking them through any shelf they wanted to see just to show them stuff. We didn't have an online store. That's not something we have done, but we just did, like, you could e-transfer.
You went through the entire pandemic without an online store?
Yeah, we didn't have anything set up for it. Of course, 2009, you're like, we're going to get an online store.
Yeah.
That takes a whole nother department.
Yeah, it takes a bit of setup for sure, especially with the amount of inventory you have.
So we just did this visual stuff and we were emailing. We had my mom working even during COVID. She was at home just emailing customers or messaging on Facebook because people would message and say, I want this, or can I have a picture of this? And we just spent hours doing this, but we didn't mind it. As I say, we have great customer service. We really do. And even then, that's what we did. We just made it work. We didn't want to shut. We didn't want to have to close our doors longer than you have to. And going back, it's crazy because kids weren't seeing each other either, right? Like everybody was doing online school and stuff, but we had parents bring their kids here and the kids would shop and the parents would wait in the car and let their kids have a play date at our toy store. And we're just like, this is crazy. But it was just the commonplace. So like, hey, yes, we can't get together, but let's meet up at the same store so we can see each other. That was when we were back open, but it was a weird time, but we managed to get through it. And it happened right at Easter. So we normally do an Easter egg hunt every year. So it's this outdoor amazing event that we do. We have to do it inside when it's cold, but we did a drive-through Easter event. We had an Easter bunny and he was handing out chocolates and it was amazing. And we had the whole parking lot like lit up and we had cars driving through and everybody, of course, is like, this is amazing, right? Like in a time of like, there's nothing fun to do, but let's make it amazing, because that's what sets us apart, is like we do this kind of stuff and there's no payment for it. We don't want anything for it. That's our way of like, thanks for being a customer, I guess, right? So, yeah.
Do you have an online store now?
We do have an online store now. So it is very, very small. We just opened it up like, I don't even know, maybe a year ago. And it actually does really well. We do
this
joke.
This is the perfect kind of product for online shopping.
It just, we need to have another, maybe I should be looking for somebody to work for that part of it. I've even told my boys, if you want money, you just have to put product on my website.
Yeah.
So we are, of course, even our online store is local to our city. We just do local delivery. So we do that. It makes it easy. I do have my 18-year-old. He does my deliveries. So I guess I shouldn't say he's not part of the business, because he does. When he is around, he'll do the deliveries for me. But we do that, and we will just go out of their way to that way. It's like, I will not drop it off on your step. I will call you. We will find out when you're home. I will make sure that he can deliver at a time that he's physically going to be able to hand it to you, so that I don't like all the extra challenges that come with stuff. Yeah, I don't even want my customers to have to worry. So I will go out of my way to do stuff. Yeah. So,
you can tell I'm in a payment processor, because I'm like, you don't have it on.
I know, right?
It's just in the back of my head. I couldn't let it go. I'm sorry. I apologize.
We do. It's very small.
That came across very judgmental, and I didn't mean to.
No, it's all right.
Is there anything that Moneris did to help you through any of that?
I will give credit where credit is due. Having a portable machine that you could walk up to a customer and take it to them actually did help. You don't realize that. And we still, to this day, use it. If I have a customer that is doing an order and I'm going to deliver it, I will quite often ask them how they're going to pay. And if they're going to pay by a credit card, I'll just tell them I'll bring my machine with me. And they're all like kind of amazed that you can do that. In this day and age, it shouldn't be a problem, but I'm not a delivery driver, so they don't expect it. But I do. I walk up, I use my Moneris pin pad, and it's really awesome. And it has kind of transformed the way, we don't do a lot of shows, but we have done trade shows where we usually just do a fun event. We don't usually sell stuff. That's not our thing, which is crazy. And I'm sure, you're right. All the things we do for not making money is crazy. But we do these trade shows, and then we ended up taking it, and we weren't going to sell. We were going to do a play day for all the kids to come and play with putty, and it was going to be a fun event. But everything behind us says display, what we thought was display. Everybody's like, can I buy this? Can I buy this? Can I buy this? And we had taken the machine with us in case we needed to sell something, not thinking we would. But of course, the whole time we were like swiping through on the Moneris pin pad. So that was kind of fun, but they've always been around when you need it.
Coming up after the break, we find out what the future holds for Zippity Zoom Toys. Welcome back to Yes, We Were Open. Since 2009, 3 generations of the Bosche family have worked together to grow Zippity Zoom Toys into a pillar of South Regina's small business community. With the recent opening of their new hobby room, it seems they're not done growing. So what does the future hold? Let's find out.
Last part, future outlook. So
future outlook. Well, now that we've opened up the hobby store, I guess that is, I think, going to take the next couple years to figure out where you go, what direction you go. They're really busy with 3D printing over there. So that's a good thing, but I don't know enough of that market. Right. So we lost our hobby stores in the city. So, we opened up at a really good time. So for the hobby store, that will be us watching that grow. We're pretty much established here. We are going to finish our website one day, but we're going to work really hard at getting more product on there. I do joke though that my boy is a candy lover, and maybe one day there will be a Zippity Zoom candy room.
It's a good brand. So I'm just wondering, maybe this is something for your kids to think about.
Yeah.
But, expansion or different locations.
Or something, right?
Yeah. Like that. Any plans for that or no?
Not at 18. He's not saying he wants to. The 16-year-old does want to do maybe business. So that might be something he goes, Mom, you were doing it right all along, right? So, but no plans as of yet. Just continue growing. I really like dealing with people every day and the customers we get in, and just being such a big part of their experience in our store. And that's ultimately what it's all about, right? It's just, I enjoy all of that. And so does my whole family.
What do you see in the future?
I really want a second story, but I don't think that's happening. But like
second level.
Yeah, I want to just keep building. But I don't know, I don't want it to like grow too big kind of thing because I love the homey vibe, but I do just want to like just keep expanding in the sense of like, I'm digital, so I want to grow that online store and that independence.
Sounds like you need that.
Yes, but it's hard because it's trying to keep it the same mentality, but it's already been really good, like having that online presence. People have come in, they're like, I love that I can just order online and swing by, pick it up, because they still want to keep the magic with their kids of having it hidden from the bunny and the Santa, and it's a secret kind of thing. So yes.
We really truly have the greatest customer service, but we have a sign on our door that says, for toy emergencies, call, and it has my cell phone number on it. So people call and do call or text all the time.
Your personal cell phone.
My personal cell phone. So if you need something after hours, and we get people in that joke all the time, like, what would be a toy emergency? Ha ha ha. Right? What is it?
A toy emergency.
Honestly, anything. We had a kid that had this little super boink, and you just squeeze it down and it goes flying up, but they lost it on the house or in a tree. And of course the kid was sad and crying, and so they came to the store. We were closed. They called the number, and of course I'm there, and I'm like, can you wait 5 minutes? I'll be there. We all live super close, that it's anybody, we will drop anything, honestly, to come and do something like that. But that just attests to like the way that we, you know, do stuff at our store. We go above and beyond to like help. So yeah.
Final question.
Yes.
Seeing what your mom built here over 16 years, and now that you're working here, how do you feel?
Good. Happy every single day. So we literally just went to New York, and skipping through all of the new toys. So it'll never change, literally ever. So even if mom retires, I'm still going to call her and be like, should I order this? Because that's just how it's going to be. Yep. So it's happy, and I'm always happy.
Sounds like your kids are more than happy to kind of continue the legacy.
Yeah.
So thinking about what you've built in 16 years, this is your passion project, I guess. How do you feel?
I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, I'm pretty proud that it turned into this, and I love that I can look back every day and go like, I joke with my husband, I can't believe I started this. Like, it's a weird thing. You don't realize when you start something that 16 years later, you don't realize like what you've changed, and it's awesome. Like, it really is awesome. It's fun to go back and reflect and remember, and every once in a while look at pictures and go, oh my gosh, look at how small the old store was, and you could see a wall. Now you can't see any walls. But literally.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Tracy and DJ, is Zippity Zoom Toys open?
Yes, we are open.
That's the story of Zippity Zoom Toys. It's been a while since we've had a story focusing on customer service on this podcast, so this story came at a great time. As much as I gave Tracy a hard time about missing great opportunities to capitalize on sales, and I was being playful, by the way, I do appreciate and genuinely believe that profit was not a motivation for Tracy when she started Zippity Zoom Toys. I believe she started it because she just loves toys and having fun and dealing with customers. Throughout her story, she kept on referring to how this wasn't a business for her. It was just something she enjoyed doing. I believe she'd do it for free, and I believe in some cases she did. That's why when she decided to close the business back in 2018, the thought she could just sell it didn't even occur to her. How could she sell her passion? Luckily, DJ was able to step in, and I couldn't think of a better person. DJ shares the same dedication to great customer service as her mom. Their enthusiasm is so infectious. I defy anyone to spend any amount of time with anyone in the Bosche family and leave in a bad mood. I like their chances to continue to grow Zippity Zoom as big as they want it to be. Now, I've already used the sky's the limit pun to end a podcast back in episode 1. I know, what are the chances? So I'll just say this about Zippity Zoom Toys. After visiting Tracy and her family, I see good things on the horizon. I'm certainly flying high. I'll see myself out now. Yes, We Are Open is a Moneris podcast production. I'd like to thank Rob, DJ, and Tracy for taking the time to share their story. You can learn more about Zippity Zoom Toys at zippityzoomtoys.ca. Follow them on Facebook at Zippity Zoom Toys, Instagram at Zippity Zoom, and on TikTok they're at Zippity Zoom YQR. For more information about this podcast, visit our site yesweareopenpodcast.com. If you'd like to support us, rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're a Canadian small business owner or know of one with an interesting story of perseverance to tell, I'd love to help tell it. You can contact me at podcast@moneris.com. Tune in next week for another story of small business struggle and survival on the Yes We Are Open podcast. I'm Al Grego. Thank you for listening.